the distinct pleasure of introducing Lewis today to talk to you a little bit more about the application of stablecoin and continue on the payments sort of bandwagon. The reason that we're highlighting FOMO Pay as a partner is they've been a long-term partner with us at Circle for a number of years, and they've also been a trailblazer for stablecoin adoption within Southeast Asia. Lewis has also led a number of initiatives for payments in Southeast Asia, particularly Singapore with the Singapore QR code. And he's going to talk to you about the next iteration of payments in Southeast Asia. So Lewis, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Boyd. A very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Louis, founder and CEO of FOMO Pay. A little bit about me and my company. FOMO, we just celebrated our 10th year anniversary 1 month ago. We are a Singapore financial institution, fully licensed to provide one-stop digital payment, digital banking, and digital asset solutions. It has been our honor to be one of the first official payment partners with Circle and USDC when they launched and got licensed in Asia back in 2022. So today I'm going to cover the topic about the next generation, the consumption behavior, and what is shifting the new payment behavior among your consumers and in the market. When we started the payment company in 10 years ago, this is a terminal you probably saw, right? So this is a card terminal. You are able to accept credit card. So most of the restaurant retailers, they will use this one to accept the card payment for people from anywhere in the world. Starting from 2018, when Singapore started to drive the cashless society, to help those underbanked merchants to adopt more cashless payment, then this will become the SGQR, whereby FOMO is one of the founding members sitting in the SGQR task force to help drive this national QR payment standard. So now, if you go to any one of the 110 hawker centers in Singapore, you are able to use QR to make payment, right? So you are able to be cashless. Starting from 3 years ago, right, as a payment company, we service thousands of merchants, right? Day to day, they come to us and they say, hey, I start to encounter the customer from other countries, because Singapore is a global financial hub and tourism hub. They start to ask me whether you accept crypto payment or stablecoin payment, right? Because as a business, you want to close your sales, you want to generate revenue. When more and more people start to ask you whether I can pay you in stablecoin, you have to find a way to make it happen. That's why now, in addition to the credit card and e-wallet, now the stablecoin payment becomes another fast-growing, emerging payment method, whereby you are able to use USDC to pay at a lot of F&B, restaurant, retail, or even the vending machines in our booth demonstrated today. So why the rise of stablecoin payment? Let's look at some of the data here. Right? PayFi just become a buzzword this year. At least I want everyone today to have this takeaway about this new buzzword in the industry, PayFi. It only comes into place this year, which stands for payment finance. Right? It represents the blockchain payment which you are able to deliver instant settlement for the merchant. According to the Business Times recently, just in Q2 itself, in Singapore, there are over $1 billion processed through the stablecoin payment. And it's very interoperable. You are able to use different kind of chain to transfer the payment from the consumer to the merchant and then to close the deal. One of the real-world use cases, purpose-bound money. This is one of the government initiatives under the Project Orchid. You are able to program the money, let's say for the government grant, right? You don't want people to use the government grant for for certain limited purpose, just for your food, for your rental. So you are able to build this purpose-bound money on top of the blockchain payment, right? So we demonstrated this with a few merchants so that you are able to use the purpose-bound money, which they wrap up the voucher distributed by the issuer, so you are able to pay at those space. But you are not able to use this kind of purpose-bound money beyond this MCC, beyond this merchant category. Right? So this is one of the use cases that is demonstrated at our booth today. Another real-world use case is for the cross-border payment. FOMO, we have been doing the cross-border payment and doing the settlement for merchant for 10 years. For the first 7 years, no matter how hardworking we are, we can only settle to the merchant when SWIFT is open. But SWIFT network does not open over the weekend, after the banking hours, or during the public holidays, which means 365 days a year, we can only do the settlement for 260 days. So now with stable coins, we are able to do the 724 cross-border settlement to the merchant. Imagine if you are the suppliers who need the payment by today or even over the weekend, right? How you are able to make the cross-border payment for the remittance use case, and just now the previous panel was also sharing on this. The B2B segment, the stablecoin has been used more and more, and it has been growing exponentially. And by looking at the stablecoin regulation timeline, right, across the world, more and more jurisdictions are introducing their own stablecoin regulations. Singapore introduced our single currency stablecoin regulations last year, and there are a few companies who got the license. So Singapore is one of the first jurisdictions in the world which has made it very clear how to issue a stablecoin and how to circulate a stablecoin. And in the meantime, right, to increase the adoption of the stablecoin in our real world, FOMO, as a payment company, we are able to adopt the stablecoin as a payment method for a lot of traditional business, F&B, the wholesalers, the traditional, those kind of retailers, to adopt the stablecoin so that it can be an end-to-end cycle to grow the adoption for this kind of new payment method. In the meantime, Hong Kong, UAE, and Japan, and even Europe, they are also learning from Singapore. They are catching up, and some of them, they already introduced or in the process of launching their own stablecoin regulations, whereby Circle, they are one of the first to get a license in many jurisdictions, from US to Singapore and UAE, and I believe more licenses are coming. So some people may ask, okay, stablecoin payment, would this be compliant? Would it be secure? So after 3 years, we got the license. After 3 years, we introduced the stablecoin payment. I can share with you, now the stablecoin as a payment method has already been very, very, I would say, getting more and more compliant, very secure, right? There are KYC, KYT solutions to make sure every transaction is able to be secure, to be clean, right? We are able to identify and flag those stable coins from the suspicious address so that you don't have to worry whether this payment is decent or is suspicious. And other than that, there are more and more clear framework for reporting, for the audit. So if the entire ecosystem is evolving so that you are able to adopt stablecoin as a payment for your business, for your service, and most importantly, the cost of payment for this one is much cheaper compared to the previous one. That is also one of the reasons why the mainstream is rapidly growing the adoption of the stablecoin payment. And last but not least, the compliance standards. Now the AML and FATF, they are launching very clear frameworks in terms of how to introduce and how to regulate the stablecoin as a payment during the end-to-end process, how you are able to do the reporting so that you don't have to worry whether you are able to record stablecoin payment on your sales, right? Because previously you accept stablecoin as a payment, it's still recorded as a payment receivable. But now you are able to use a license solution to record this as direct sales. So that has been the market evolution. Okay, so unlocking the potential of PayFi and stablecoin. So why more and more merchant and business, they are in the process of adopting stablecoin as a payment method. Number one is very, very cost effective, right? I would say it's only 20 or 30% compared to what we have from a lot of traditional payment methods. And that's one of the critical reasons why the rapid adoption is happening among the merchant and business. Number two, the faster settlement, right? So if you are running a restaurant, if you are running a cross-border business, one party tell you, oh, I have to wait for the next settlement day in order to send you the money, and then compared to you who are able to offer the instant settlement even over the weekend, right? Imagine if you are the counterparty, which one would you choose? So that is also another main catalyst for adoption of the stablecoin. And last but not least, with the industry continue to evolve, more and more licensed players and regulations come into place, so we are able to make sure it's compliant, it's secure, so that you don't have to worry about the, all the accounting and finance issues. With the evolving regulation framework, which I just shared just now, it's not only happening in Singapore, right? It's happening in Hong Kong, it's happening in UAE, Europe, and maybe after the US election, right? We are able to see some of the new changes and updates in US as well. So that's how we are seeing the stablecoin is becoming more and more mainstream, getting adopted by more and more business and the corporate. So that is a trend we want to share. And the future innovations in PayFi. So it doesn't stop there, right? When it comes to the tokenized asset, right? Tokenized technologies, stablecoin will become the fundamental instrument to enable a lot of innovations in the PayFi space, whereby by today there are quite a few sharing talking about the treasury solutions to build on top of stablecoins, some of the FX solutions to build on top of the stablecoins. So I think with stablecoins now as a new form factor of the money compared to the e-wallet for the closed loop money, right? And then the cash, which is the paper notes. So you are able to see that we are going through a rapid evolution of the form factor of the money from the paper to the closed loop and now to the open loop. So when you can imagine when the new form factor of the money come into place, it will require the whole set of the infrastructure in the financial space to enable and empower all the stakeholders in this area to accept stablecoin, custodize, and then to do the treasury and then to pay out. So the entire infrastructure needs to be built up, and you will see more and more these kind of solutions and innovations upcoming in the next few years. And last but not least, we are seeing that more and more the layer 1, right, is now introduced. How to make sure it's secure, it's compliant. That's why at SFF today, right, a lot of discussion is surrounding the GL1 launched by MAS. So stablecoin need to be minted on some blockchain, right? It can be on Ethereum, it can be on other blockchain. So you are able to see different kind of innovations. Just one example, I was just talking to Boyd in the back scene. If you are paying attention to the US election, there are some prediction website which is very popular. One of them is called the Poly Market, right? If you notice, and it only accepts USDC on the Polygon if you want to predict, right, for the US election result. And a lot of media are quoting their result, right, to show how many people supporting on which side. So that is also one of the use case, right, which is facing to the audience global-wise and for your prediction, for your thought. So with that, I would like to conclude my sharing today. Thanks so much for Circle, for your invite today, and it has been a pleasure to introduce, right, so the latest regulatory landscape in Singapore, and some of the real use case for the stablecoin in the retail payment for our day-to-day B2C payment, and in the cross-border B2B payment. So stablecoin is not only used for crypto exchanges, for trading and investment purpose. It can also be used in this kind of real-world payment use case. And I hope for today you have some takeaway to understand that different kind of value that stablecoin are able to bring. And probably it can give some inspirations how your business, your company are able to embrace this trend and to adopt stablecoin in your use case and business model. With that, thank you so much for your time and listening.
Thank you, Mr. Liu, for your insights and sharing.